There comes a time in every life when you stand at the crossroads, where the path before you seems unclear, and the weight of uncertainty presses down on your shoulders. The weight of mediocrity, of missed opportunities, of unfulfilled potential, weighs heavy. You feel the pull of comfort, the lure of complacency, the safe, well-worn path of least resistance. But then, deep within your soul, you hear it. That whisper, that call to rise, to move beyond, to step into the unknown and discover who you truly are, what you are truly capable of. It is the moment when you must decide, do you continue down the path of what you've always known, or do you dare to face the unknown, to chase greatness? You see, the greatest obstacle to progress is not the lack of resources, nor is it the circumstances that you face. The greatest obstacle is the belief that you cannot change, the belief that your current reality is all there is. But I tell you this, you are not your circumstances. You are not the product of where you've been or what you've done in the past. You are the product of the choices you make today and the actions you take tomorrow. Success, wealth, and greatness are not reserved for a select few. They are not the privileges of the lucky, the fortunate, or the gifted. They are the result of one immutable law, the law of progress. The law of progress is simple. You will rise only as far as you believe you can rise. But belief alone is not enough. No, belief is the spark that ignites the fire. It is action, relentless, focused, disciplined action that fuels the flame. This is the path to wealth, to greatness, to becoming the person you were always meant to be. Think about it. Every great man and woman who has ever achieved extraordinary success has faced the same moment of doubt, the same crossroads where the choice was theirs to make. They stood at the edge of their own potential, just like you are today. They had no certainty, no guarantees. They had nothing but their vision, their belief, and their willingness to act. Take Thomas Edison, for example. Edison, the man who would revolutionize the world with the electric light bulb, failed more times than most would care to count. Over 1,000 times he failed in his experiments. But what did Edison say when asked about these failures? He didn't call them failures. He called them 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb. He saw progress, not failure. He saw each step as a step closer to his goal. Or consider Andrew Carnegie, a man born into poverty, who became one of the richest men in history. Carnegie's rise wasn't about luck. It wasn't about being born into the right family or having an easy life. It was about his unwavering belief in himself, his willingness to work harder than anyone else, and his relentless pursuit of progress. And then there's Walt Disney, who was fired from a job at a newspaper because he lacked imagination. Imagine that. The man who would create an empire based on imagination, creativity, and the belief in possibility was once told he lacked what made him special. But did he let that stop him? No, he pressed on. He knew that progress wasn't a straight line, it was a series of obstacles, failures, and setbacks that only revealed themselves as lessons in disguise. What these men, and countless others, understood is this: progress is not linear. It does not happen in a straight, uninterrupted path. Progress happens in fits and starts. It happens in moments of brilliance and moments of doubt. It happens when you rise after you fall, when you keep going when others have quit. It happens when you believe in yourself, even when no one else does. And so, I ask you today, are you ready to embrace this law? Are you ready to take that first step toward greatness? Because the path is not easy, but it is simple. It is a path paved with belief, vision, clarity, action, and resilience. It is a path that demands your best effort, your strongest commitment, and your unyielding will. In this moment, you stand at the threshold of your future. The choice is yours. The law of progress is waiting to be embraced. The question is, will you take the first step? Progress begins in the mind. That is the first and most important realization you must understand. The law of progress does not start with action, though action is crucial. It does not begin with your circumstances, though they play their role. No, the law of progress begins with something far more powerful: your thoughts. We are all products of our thinking. What you believe about yourself will dictate the actions you take, or fail to take. If you think you are incapable, you will act in ways that confirm that belief. If you think you are destined for greatness, every challenge becomes an opportunity, and every setback is simply a lesson to be learned. The mind is the battleground where progress is won or lost. Henry Ford understood this better than most. Ford was once told that his vision of a car for the masses was impossible. He was laughed at, ridiculed, and told that such a venture was doomed to failure. But Ford believed in the power of progress, in the power of his own vision, and in the power of his mind. He refused to accept the limitations that others imposed upon him. Ford famously said, "Whether you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right." That is the crux of the law of progress. Your thoughts shape your reality. Your thoughts determine your actions, and your actions determine your success, but belief is not enough. Belief is just the beginning. Belief ignites the fire, but it is discipline and persistence that keep the flame burning bright. Think about discipline for a moment. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Without discipline, progress is impossible. You cannot hope to achieve greatness without it, because greatness is not a destination. Greatness is a journey, a continuous, unrelenting pursuit of bettering yourself every single day. You might be wondering, how do you cultivate discipline? It is not something you are born with, it is something you create. Discipline begins with small, seemingly insignificant actions, repeated consistently over time. It begins with making the decision to act even when you don't feel like it. It is about choosing to put in the work, day in and day out, when others are choosing comfort, when others are choosing ease. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest men alive, attributed his success to this very principle. He said, "The difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything." Discipline is not just about doing the work, it is about doing the right work. It is about focusing on what truly matters and saying no to the distractions that seek to pull you off course. But here's the thing. Progress is not about perfection. It's about momentum. It's about continuing to move forward, no matter how small the steps. It's about doing something every day that brings you closer to your vision, closer to your goals, and closer to the person you were meant to become. Progress, by its very nature, requires patience. It requires the ability to keep going even when the results are not immediately visible. Thomas Edison's journey to invent the light bulb was not a straight shot. It was a process of trial and error, of refining ideas, of revising plans, of taking one step back to take 2 steps forward. He famously said, "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration." Success, true success, is built on a foundation of hard work, sacrifice, and most importantly, consistency. This is where many people fail. They expect progress to be immediate. They expect results to come quickly, as if success were a vending machine. You put in a little effort, and out comes the reward. But that is not how progress works. True progress requires faith in the process. It requires you to trust that every step, every ounce of effort, every day of hard work is adding up. Even when you cannot yet see the results, even when you are not yet reaping the rewards, you must keep going. The key to progress is clarity. Clarity of vision, clarity of purpose, clarity of intent. Without clarity, you will wander aimlessly. You will move forward, but you will not know where you are going. But when you have clarity, you have direction. You know where you are headed, and you know what needs to be done to get there. Think about the great visionaries, those who have created empires, those who have reshaped industries, those who have transformed the world. They all had clarity. Steve Jobs had clarity about the future of technology. He knew that design and innovation would be the cornerstones of the future. Oprah Winfrey had clarity about her purpose in life, to inspire and empower others through media. Elon Musk has clarity about the future of space exploration and sustainable energy. These individuals didn't stumble upon success by accident. They didn't wake up one morning and find themselves at the top of the world. No, they created their success. They carved their path through clarity, focus, and a single-minded determination to see their vision realized. And so, the question becomes, what is your vision? What do you want to achieve? What is the legacy you wish to leave behind? Clarity is not just about having a goal. It's about having a reason for that goal. It's about understanding the why behind what you are doing. When your why is clear, your how becomes easier. When your vision is strong, your actions will align with that vision, and success will become inevitable. But clarity alone is not enough. Action is the true catalyst for progress. You must take action. Many people get caught up in the planning phase. They think and think, they strategize and analyze, and they wait for the perfect moment to act. But the perfect moment never comes. The perfect time is always just a little bit out of reach. In his book Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill emphasizes the importance of definiteness of purpose and decisiveness in action. He writes, the starting point of all achievement is desire. Keep this constantly in mind. Weak desires bring weak results, just as a small fire makes a small amount of heat. If you want massive results, you need massive action. If you want to change your life, you need to act as if your dreams are already a reality. You must embody the person you want to become today, not tomorrow. You must show up with unwavering commitment, even when the path ahead seems uncertain. Success is not just a matter of knowing what to do, it's about doing it. It's about taking that first step, then the next, and the next, until you are moving forward with such velocity that nothing can stop you. As you embark on this journey of progress, remember that you are in control. The law of progress is not something that happens to you. It is something that happens because of you. Your decisions, your mindset, your actions, all of these things are within your power. You control how much effort you put into your goals. You control the amount of belief you have in yourself. You control your response to challenges and setbacks. You control how you face adversity. And most importantly, you control whether or not you move forward. This is the law of progress. It is simple, but not easy. It demands everything from you, and in return, it gives you everything you've ever dreamed of. And so, the question remains, will you step forward? Will you embrace the law of progress? Will you take control of your destiny? The path to wealth and greatness is not reserved for the few. It is open to anyone with the courage to take the first step, with the strength to keep moving, and with the determination to never give up. Your journey begins now. Will you take it? Now, let us delve deeper into one of the most crucial aspects of the law of progress, the power of belief. It is one thing to act, it is another to act with absolute conviction, with a belief that the outcome you desire is not only possible, but inevitable. Belief is the fuel that drives the engine of progress. Without it, action becomes hollow, and effort becomes futile. With it, there is no limit to what you can achieve. The power of belief is not some vague, mystical force. It is a concrete, undeniable reality that governs the most successful people in history. Belief creates possibility, and it is this belief that separates those who achieve greatness from those who never leave the starting line. Consider the story of Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln faced rejection and failure at almost every turn. He lost elections, failed in business, and faced ridicule from his contemporaries. Yet, Lincoln never lost faith in himself. He believed that he was destined for something greater, that he was meant to lead, and that he had a purpose greater than the disappointments that filled his past. His belief in himself fueled his determination, and despite the overwhelming odds, he became one of the most beloved and respected presidents in American history. Lincoln's story is not an isolated one. Every single person who has achieved greatness, from the field of invention to the corridors of power, has done so because they believed they could. Without belief, there can be no progress. Progress begins with a vision of what is possible and a refusal to accept anything less than that vision. Think of Edison again. When Edison was working to invent the light bulb, many told him it was an impossible task. They said he was chasing an illusion, that electricity would never replace the flame of a candle or the flicker of a gaslight. But Edison's belief was unwavering. He believed that the world could be lit by a simple filament, and he would not stop until he proved it. Belief is your internal compass. It points you toward your true north, guiding you through the fog of uncertainty and doubt. It is the force that pushes you to take that next step, even when the path is unclear. It drives you to show up, to try again, and to keep going when the world tells you it's time to quit. But belief, in and of itself, is not enough. Belief must be backed by action. This brings us to the next cornerstone of progress: discipline. Discipline is the muscle that transforms belief into reality. Belief is the dream. Discipline is the daily grind that brings that dream to life. Success is not a singular event. It is the culmination of countless small, consistent actions taken over time. It is waking up early, putting in the effort, and sticking with the process, even when the results are not immediate. Many people fail to achieve their goals not because they lack belief, but because they lack the discipline to follow through. They expect instant results, and when the going gets tough, they give up. But this is not how progress works. Progress demands persistence. It demands the willingness to keep going, even when you can't see the end. It demands the strength to push through the pain, the fatigue, the doubt, and the fear. Discipline is the difference between those who dream and those who achieve. It is the act of showing up when it's hard, of staying committed when you feel like quitting, and of maintaining focus when the distractions of the world threaten to pull you off course. Walt Disney exemplified this. When Disney started his company, he faced numerous setbacks. He was rejected by multiple banks, and his first animation company went bankrupt. But Disney never lost his discipline. He believed in his vision, and every setback was merely an obstacle to overcome, not a reason to quit. His discipline drove him to work tirelessly, even when the world told him he was crazy. But discipline is not just about hard work, it's about focused, purposeful work. It's about choosing your goals and making them non-negotiable. It's about prioritizing what matters most and eliminating the distractions that seek to steal your time, energy, and focus. Every successful person, from the richest entrepreneurs to the most celebrated athletes, knows that discipline is what turns dreams into reality. Discipline demands that you plan your work and work your plan. It demands that you make every action count, that you stop wasting time on what doesn't matter. The richest men in the world didn't get there by simply dreaming. They got there by focusing on what mattered most, putting in the work, and remaining relentless in their pursuit of excellence. It's no coincidence that one of the most successful businessmen in history, Bill Gates, once said, "We always overestimate the change that will occur in the next 2 years and underestimate the change that will occur in the next 10. Gates, like all great achievers, understands the value of time, the power of consistency, and the importance of staying disciplined. The small actions you take today will compound over time, creating massive results in the future. But only if you remain disciplined enough to continue the process, which brings us to the next crucial piece of the puzzle: clarity. You cannot expect to make progress without knowing exactly where you are going. Clarity of purpose is the foundation upon which all great achievements are built. Without it, you will wander aimlessly, never truly knowing if you are heading in the right direction. With clarity, however, you have a map, an unwavering guide to keep you on course, no matter how difficult the journey may become. Steve Jobs had clarity. He didn't just create products, he created a vision for the future of technology, a vision that was crystal clear in his mind. That clarity guided every decision he made, and ultimately, it led to the creation of one of the most valuable companies in the world, Apple. And it wasn't just about creating beautiful products. Jobs had a vision for how technology could change the world. He didn't just want to make things work, he wanted to make things better. He wanted to give people tools that would not only improve their lives, but also transform the way they thought, created, and communicated. Clarity is what fuels progress. Without it, you cannot know which actions to take or which opportunities to seize. With clarity, you can see the path ahead and walk it with unwavering conviction. When your purpose is clear, your actions become purposeful, and your progress becomes inevitable. Purpose and clarity are your guiding stars. They point you in the right direction, ensuring that every action you take aligns with your deepest goals and desires. Without purpose, your journey becomes meaningless. Without clarity, your path becomes uncertain. But with both, you are unstoppable. Now, let us move to the next truth. Resilience. Progress will never come without resistance. Every single person who has achieved greatness has faced trials, setbacks, and moments of failure. They have encountered rejection, doubt, and fear. But the key to success is not avoiding these challenges, it is learning to face them head-on and bounce back stronger than before. Resilience is the ability to rise after every fall, to continue moving forward when the odds are stacked against you. The story of Michael Jordan, often regarded as the greatest basketball player of all time, perfectly illustrates this. Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. He failed countless times throughout his career, but his resilience kept him pushing. He didn't let failure define him. He used it as fuel to work harder, to grow stronger, and to become the legend we know today. Resilience is about more than just bouncing back. It's about adapting, learning, and evolving with each challenge. It's about seeing obstacles not as roadblocks, but as opportunities for growth. So, now, ask yourself, are you ready to be resilient? Are you ready to face your challenges head-on, to keep moving forward, even when the world tells you to stop? Because true progress comes from resilience, from the ability to keep going when others have quit, from the willingness to learn from your mistakes and use them as stepping stones to success. Now that we've explored the foundation of belief, discipline, clarity, and resilience, it's time to talk about adaptability, perhaps one of the most crucial qualities of anyone who has achieved extraordinary success. Adaptability is the ability to change, to evolve, to pivot when necessary, and to remain open to new ideas and opportunities. It is the ability to move with the flow of life, to recognize when the old path is no longer serving you, and to shift course without hesitation. Adaptability is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of strength. The world around us is constantly changing, technology evolves at breakneck speed, industries are disrupted, and opportunities come and go in the blink of an eye. The individuals who succeed are not always those who stick rigidly to one path. No, they are the ones who can see the changes coming, who can recognize when their approach is no longer working, and who have the courage to take a new direction. Think of Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon. Bezos didn't start out to create the behemoth e-commerce platform that Amazon is today. His original vision was to create an online bookstore. But as he observed the changing landscape of the internet, he recognized a broader opportunity. He adapted. He shifted his focus from books to selling everything under the sun, from electronics to clothing, and eventually even cloud computing services with Amazon Web Services. Bezos's ability to adapt to the changing market and anticipate the future of online commerce is what allowed Amazon to grow into the global giant it is today. His story is one of resilience and adaptability, of continually adjusting to new circumstances, and of never being afraid to let go of what was working in the short term in favor of something greater in the long term. Adaptability is about recognizing that progress is not a straight line. It is the realization that, just like life, your journey will have ups and downs, twists and turns. The question is not whether or not you will face challenges, but how you will respond when they come. Will you dig in your heels and refuse to change, or will you adapt, learn, and move forward? Success is not about resisting change, it's about embracing it. It's about being able to pivot when the world around you changes and still move forward with unwavering purpose. You must be willing to let go of outdated ideas, strategies, and plans that no longer serve you and make room for new ones that will propel you forward. The best entrepreneurs, the most innovative minds in history, are those who have been able to adapt quickly and with confidence. In today's world, the speed of change is faster than ever before. The companies that were giants yesterday may be tomorrow's has-beens. The ideas that were revolutionary 5 years ago may now be outdated. But progress does not stop. The law of progress is not just about doing the same thing over and over. It is about evolving, growing, and constantly seeking new opportunities for success. It is this constant evolution, this willingness to adapt, that will allow you to navigate the shifting tides of life and business. And it is this adaptability that will make you unshakable, no matter what the world throws your way. But adaptability alone is not enough. You must also embrace the power of learning. In the quest for greatness, you must become a lifelong learner, someone who is never satisfied with the knowledge they have, but is always seeking to expand, to improve, and to grow. The greatest minds in history have been those who were constantly learning. Albert Einstein once said, "The more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know." It is this insatiable hunger for knowledge that drives the most successful individuals. They do not see learning as a task, they see it as an essential part of their journey. They understand that in order to move forward, they must continually seek new insights, new perspectives, and new strategies. Learning is the key to unlocking progress. It is about expanding your mind, challenging your assumptions, and pushing the boundaries of what you thought was possible. The world is filled with infinite knowledge and possibilities, and to succeed, you must be open to it all. Whether it's reading books, attending seminars, or seeking out mentors, you must commit yourself to learning from every experience, every failure, and every success. But learning is not just about accumulating knowledge, it is about applying that knowledge to make progress. Knowledge without action is useless. It is what you do with the lessons you've learned that matters. It is about taking that new insight, that new understanding, and using it to propel yourself forward. Learning is the vehicle that drives your progress. The more you learn, the more you can adapt, the more you can innovate, and the more you can grow. It is an unbreakable cycle. Learning leads to action, action leads to progress, and progress leads to success. And as you learn and adapt, you must always remember to stay grateful. Gratitude is the fuel that sustains the journey of progress. It is the anchor that keeps you grounded when the road gets tough. It is the acknowledgement that even in the midst of challenges, there is always something to be thankful for. Gratitude is a powerful force. It shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, from scarcity to abundance. When you practice gratitude, you open your eyes to the opportunities around you, and you develop a sense of abundance that attracts even more success into your life. Walt Disney, whose life was filled with setbacks and struggles, was known for his deep sense of gratitude. Despite the failures he encountered along the way, he always focused on what he had and what he could give. His gratitude allowed him to keep moving forward, even when it seemed like all hope was lost. Gratitude is not about waiting for things to go perfectly. It is about appreciating what you have and knowing that even in the toughest moments, you are being prepared for something greater. When you are grateful for the process, you can embrace every challenge as an opportunity for growth, and every setback as a lesson to be learned. And so, as you walk the path to greatness, remember this: your progress will not always be linear. There will be times when you must adapt, times when you must learn, times when you will face setbacks and disappointments. But with belief, discipline, clarity, resilience, adaptability, and gratitude, you will be unstoppable. You are on the path to greatness. The law of progress is working in your favor. Every step you take, no matter how small, is bringing you closer to your goals. Keep moving forward, keep believing, keep learning, keep growing, and as you walk that path, remember, your journey is not just about what you achieve, it is about who you become along the way. As you stand at the threshold of your journey, this grand adventure towards wealth, greatness, and fulfillment, let one truth echo in your mind: the law of progress is a law you can choose to obey at any moment. It is not a force beyond your control. It is not something that happens to you. It is something you make happen. The choice is yours. Progress is not a destination. It is a journey. It is a commitment to becoming more than you are today, to striving for something greater tomorrow, and to never allowing the circumstances of life to dictate your future. The road ahead is not easy. It never is. But it is simple. It is paved with belief, discipline, clarity, resilience, adaptability, learning, and gratitude. These are the building blocks of progress, the keys to unlocking the greatness within you. So ask yourself, are you ready to take that first step? Are you ready to commit to your journey of progress, to face the challenges, the setbacks, the obstacles, and rise every time you fall? The path to wealth, success, and greatness is not for the faint of heart. It is for those who are willing to bet on themselves, to invest in their vision, and to take relentless action toward their dreams. You may not have all the answers today, but you do have the power. You have the power to choose. You have the power to move forward. And with every step, you will find yourself closer to the person you are destined to become. This journey, your journey, is not just about achieving success. It is about transforming into someone who cannot be stopped, someone who is unbreakable, someone who creates their own path. Remember, every person who has ever achieved greatness, whether it's in business, in life, or in their own personal growth, started with a simple decision: to rise, to believe, and to take action. They were no different from you. They had their own doubts, their own fears, their own failures, but they made a choice, and that choice propelled them forward, step by step, until they were standing in the place they once only dreamed of. Now it's your turn. The law of progress is yours to claim. The wealth, the success, the greatness, they are all within your reach. All you need is the courage to take the first step, the determination to keep moving, and the belief that you are worthy of the life you want to create. And as you continue on your journey, remember this: you are not alone. The world is full of people who have walked the path before you, people who have faced the same struggles and overcome them, who have made the same decisions to rise and never look back. So, if you are ready to embrace the law of progress, if you are ready to unlock the greatness within you, then subscribe to this channel. Here, we are committed to helping you discover your full potential, to guiding you step by step, and to walking alongside you on this incredible journey toward success. Don't just dream about the life you want, live it. Take the first step today. Subscribe, stay connected, and together, let's turn progress into your reality. The time for change is now. The time for greatness is now. Let's begin.